No, this one's A&A, this one is. It's a little bit, it's a bit peachy. So we can see it's nice and shiny. But it's still going, this is still going, that is. So what I want you to do is look at your bead. I'm going in at a 45-degree angle. I'm tapping 3 times. Look at it on your brush. So if we look at this, it looks a little bit dry, doesn't it? Let's see what happens. It looked a bit dry, but in fact it wasn't, was it?
No.
Yeah? So you'll find different brands will work differently. Some will be thirsty, some will need to be, you know, used a lot drier. But this, even though it was still working, it's actually quite nice to pattern press now. I can really control it. It didn't move too much. It was slightly wetter than that one. But this one, even though I did this one first, this one is still at the same kind of rate. So anything between what I've just done is okay. What I don't want to see is that. When you put your bead on, I want you to try and block out this black circle. You will always see it a little bit, but the pigment needs to be there. That's far too wet, isn't it, yeah? It's too wet. We can't really do much with that. We'll have to play with it all day until it actually starts to set. You're not going to have much strength. However, a wetter bead will give you great adhesion. No strength. Yeah? So it'll give you all the traction, but no horsepower. Like the opposite of my car. My car's got all the horsepower, zero traction.
Albon is all over the back of Hamilton, who once again forces him the long way round. And Albon again, no, with Lewis Hamilton.
So, but what do we want? We want both, don't we? We want great adhesion and we want strength. So that's why it's so important to get that happy medium with that ratio. Now, it's easy to do. And this is how I do it. This is how I was taught to do it by Trang Nguyen, if anybody knows who Trang is. Trang owns Odyssey. He's like a world champion. He's absolutely amazing. He's getting on a bit now, Got a bit of salt and pepper going on. But my pink and whites, I learned from him. He's phenomenal, yeah? This is the easiest way to pick up a bead and get it right the first time. So, different sizes. So, we're gonna saturate the brush, burp the brush. So, you know it's saturated because there's no more bubbles coming out that brush when we bounce. And then I'm gonna wipe. Let me show you this in here. I'm gonna wipe, but I'm not gonna splay the brush, yeah? I'm just gonna run the brush across the edge of the dampen dish, yeah? Turn it over, wet side in. 45-degree angle, 1, 2, 3. Turn it over. Do I like the bead? I like it. It's got a slight bit of dryness around the edge, but by the time I put this where I want it to be, and then I clean my brush. By cleaning the brush, I am reshaping the brush, ready to start to move my product around, yeah? And I can still pattern press that, and it's not moving too much. I can move it, I'm in control of it, yeah? 45-degree angle, medium-sized bead. Now, for a larger bead, again, I'm just going to let the brush drag up. I'm not going to apply any pressure. I'm going to go in with the wet side of the bead, the wet side of the brush, and I'm going to bounce 1, low angle, 2, 3. Look at the angle on my brush, it's really low, which means it makes more contact. So this brush is making more contact with the powder. That means that it's going to pick up more, which makes your bead bigger. And that is a whopper, isn't it? So the more contact it makes with your brush, the bigger the bead will be. So I went really low. I didn't go 45-degree angle, I went really low as I can get in that pot. I didn't do this either. I didn't, let me move that out of the way. I didn't go jab, 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 because that will leave product on the brush, yeah. I bounced and I moved a little bit. I didn't move loads, but I didn't bounce completely in the same place. Now if I'm going to do a small bead, oh my God, how many times do I want to touch that lamp? I'm going to do a small bead. I am going to splay the brush to take off some liquid. And I'm going to go really high angle, and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. I'm then going to bleed the brush, and then I'm going to take this, pop it down, teeny tiny bead. Why was it a teeny tiny bead? There was less liquid, and the high angle, we were barely touching the powder. Yeah, we were just going 1, 2, 3. And you can see how I moved. I started here and I ended up there. So it's a very small movement, but that movement is needed. Just because else if you pick up, you'll go deeper, 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 and you run the risk of then getting it on the other side of the brush. Right, with that information, I want you to do 3 more beads. So what I want you to do now is we have, this nail, we have a large bead, then we have like a big whopper of a bead. This is just to see if you can. And then we have a 2-zoned nail. So we've got a 3-zone nail, 2-zone nail. That's what I want you to work on now. So the reason that this flares out is not because we're doing duck nails. It's because with a square nail, the way a square nail is structured and should be structured, if you got it and you smashed it flat, if you could, if it wasn't like cured, say for instance, and you smashed it flat, that's what it'd look like. So I want to know that you've got enough product to do those sides. If we're doing a different shape like a stiletto, then obviously you wouldn't need that. But I want to know you've got enough product for those sides. When we do this, these two, I want you to see if you can get how big you can get your bead, like really challenge yourself. How big can you get that? And can you control it? And then we're gonna do this 2-zone, which most people do, yeah? And the order is very important when you're creating a nail, because you want to work from the most distal point from the finger. So if we work from zone 1, place it where you want it, blend it back, and then you can pattern press your product into place. The reason that we move and we start, from the most distal point from the finger is because it won't have any heat. The closer you get to the finger, the more heat there will be. I'm going to blend, blend, blend over this way. I'm going to blend it a little bit this way as well. But then I'm going to pattern press and tuck the product into place. Small bead. And I'm going to go from the middle to those edges. So the reason we work from Zone 1, the most distal point, is because it has no heat, which means when we come to pinch this nail, it will all pinch at the same time. If I start here in zone 3, and then go to zone 2, then go to zone 1, by the time I come to pinch, this is all set here and this is still sloppy. Yeah, so that's what you'll get a far better structure. Everything will polymerise together at a very similar time, which actually makes your nail a lot stronger as well. Okay, so when we do this section here, most people, am I right in saying, most people do a 2 bead application? Yeah? So you get your length first. I'm going to pat this top section because I want it to blend. Yeah, so I'm kind of feathering that. And then I can tuck, pat and press. To get my length. This second bead is a medium-sized bead that will create your apex and your cuticle area at the same time. And I'm going to do my cuticle area, and then I'm going to slide that down. So that's what I want you to do now. Is there any of you that work in a different order? Because some people just naturally build up. What, cuticle to tip? Yeah. A lot of people just do. It's like a natural thing. They just start at the cuticle. I think because that's the most difficult point. You kind of want to get it over and done with. But yeah, so have a go at flipping it round. Those of you that might do it the other way around, but have a go this way, because when we come to do this nail, getting this structure for this square nail that we're going to do next, you will not be able to get a nice pinch if you don't do it in this order.